These matters are not new and has been reported in various media outlets. So basically, I'm just summarizing the points. How far it's true, I leave it to the viewer to make their judgment and maybe look at various sources of info. Now, before talking about certain heroes who might have brought to the downfall of Lyca production in Kollywood, and whether this is going to cause fear among other producers of entering Kollywood to produce mega budget movies, because if you only have money and you do not know the personalities and the groups involved inside the local ecosystem, rather than bringing a film to a successful end and making it an internationally famous industry, the producer might find himself like the Rajini film Sivaji, where everybody takes their share of the money and the producer's left without any money to cover himself. Actually, this phenomenon of alleged sabotage is not new. I'm saying alleged again. It started even from MGR's time, whereby this comedian called Chandrababu had apparently allegedly insulted MGR's brother at one point. And naively he decided to produce a movie with MGR, and that movie, if I'm not mistaken, is called MaDVTLA, I think, whereby the production was dragged and postponed by MGR until Chandra Babu's finances ran out, and then he died almost a poor man. But later MGR did sort of assist him by casting him in one of his movies. So that is one of the earlier known stories of heroes allegedly sabotaging a film or delaying a film because they want to collapse the producer. Because one thing you must remember, the producer is the person taking a biggest risk, one of the biggest risks, and producers have no fans. Do you know of any producer who has fans? No. Heroes have fans, so they can afford to destroy or fail in a movie and yet come back in a subsequent movie, right? Especially the stars and those who have some years already behind them in the industry. So that is some background about MGR. Now regarding actor Ajith Kumar, he's got legions of fans. He's known as a person who has a certain style of living, a person with a certain character, a certain sense of right and wrong, and so it's only fair that he has a decent number of fan following. Of course, it helps to be handsome and all that. But the so-called scandal or allegation surrounding Ajit starts with this film Jana 2004 by producer Kaja Mohidin. Apparently, as per media interview by Kaja Mohidin, he said that there was a previous film whereby Ajit had an accident and was hospitalized, and Gaja Mahidin, as you know, producers are stressed out because you got to pay interest, you are in debt, you are under a lot of stress. He was in a circumstance where he had to put Prasant as the hero, and the posters were put around and so on and so forth, and this made Ajit very angry, according to him. And so when an opportunity came subsequently to do this project called Jana, according to the producer Gajah Mahidin, the project was dragged on until almost 3 years and cost him a huge financial loss from which he had a lot of difficulty to recover. So that's the Ajit issue. And more recently, much more recently, is the issue of Ajit with producer Lyca. So because the main thing we're talking about is Lyca, how 3 or 4 heroes sort of push Lyca to the brink. So Ajit's Vida Muirchi is one of the recent issues, whereby Vida Muirchi, it seems like a very peculiar story, a story that seems to be only something that a woke culture person or somebody in higher levels of the universities and someone who's very well off, who don't see the day-to-day reality challenges of the ground, to whom good and bad is based on caricature by the media. Of course, if you're a handsome looking star, top prize star, all the girls are going to be nice to you. The girls will seem like victims to you. But try asking a poor guy who have nothing on the street, how would a girl treat him? Is she going to behave to him the same way as she does to Ajit? So of course Ajit can do movies like where he shows that he's sacrificing, he's letting the girl go to her boyfriend and all this in Vida Muirchi so-called new age thinking. But for the man on the ground, I don't think he can vibe with this kind of peculiar kind of philosophies. And he was, as per director Magil Tirumeni, another controversial director. For criticism on him, you can look to interviews by producer Nagarajan, I believe his name, if I'm not mistaken, the Chettiar gentleman who produced films like Vettayadu Vilayadu. he had some not so good things to say about director Magil Tirumeni. But anyway, according to Magil, Ajith was telling exactly what is to be done for the movie, and it seemed like intentionally or unintentionally a lot of financial burden was put on Lyca. They brought the film to a very remote place called Azerbaijan. The weather was unpredictable, shooting costs spiked up, so we do not know everything is accidental or there was some kind of grudge between Ajith and Lyca Productions. And of course, before this film itself, there was the issue of Ajith dropping director Vignesh Sivan, admittedly because apparently, allegedly again, Vignesh Sivan did not have a complete script and whatnot, and this Ajith and somehow Nayantara came into the picture, and Vignesh Sivan, how to say, due to higher salary, the initial producer Satyajodi backed off, and Lyca, who have a significant amount of money but they don't know the ins and out of the industry, they don't know the technical side that much, so they came in, right? So I think the biggest problem is producers, where the person holding the purse string is outstation and they rely on a local leader to solve the problems, and on paper things look good, you have big stars, big team, but things are not coming together. So anyway, Vidai Murchi, Lyca, Ajith, Magil Tirumeni, despite the names, did not do so well. Very peculiar story. And it again, amateur issues like a story taken from an English movie without proper rights and all being sorted out. So again, a very peculiar situation. So after FJR and Ajith, we can come to, let's say, who else? Kamal Haasan. Okay, Kamal Haasan and his dilemma with producers. There's been certain films where Kamal Haasan has made the expenses go sky high, and then the results have been very disappointing. Even someone very experienced like Tanu of We Creations had a bad experience with Alavandan, and after that film, the Kamal and Tanu was sort of away from each other for quite a few years because of that negative experience. And of course, the other person who's always giving interviews with very bitter emotion is director Lingusamy, who said he was enchanted with Kamal Haasan, who doesn't. Even the recent jailer, famous Shivraj Kumar of Kannada industry, he said that if he was a girl, he would marry Kamal Haasan. Kamal Haasan looks so cute and beautiful, and even Kamal himself said people treated him like a male Silk Smita back in the early 70s and 80s. So there are a lot of people very attracted to Kamal Haasan. However, apparently some producers did not have a great experience. So director Lingusamy being one of them, Uttama Villain became a major flop and money loss venture. And later on, Lingusamy did try to pressure Kamal to do another project after the success of the film Vikram recently, and did not get a solution. Also, other allegations like Kamal, if a girl is not close to him, he might get angry. For example, there was allegation of kissing of Rekha when she was underage, and also allegation of in the film Nayagan, Kamal slapping that girl very hard because again something to do with her not wanting to do certain type of scenes and all that. So again, all are allegations, all are in the media. Judgment is up to the individual. And what else happens? Kamal also does a film with Lyca. Supposedly on paper looks very good. Very famous director like Shankar, popular actor like Kamal Haasan, very trusted brand name franchise like Indian. Everything seems good on paper. Only thing is the producer. Who is it? Lyca. Again, an outsider, not knowing so much of the industry, but having a lot of money in the purse. So is it that when you have a producer who lacks experience, who seems to be comfortable with money, it triggers the negative traits of even popular and hardworking artists? This is the question, because this same team in the past have done very good work. Only person who seemed to have given some amount of return to Lyca is director Maniratnam. In fact, he sort of it's like a first copy basis. I think Ponniyin Selvan 1 and 2, at least 1 did decently well for them to sort of make back some money. And Maniratnam, see again, Maniratnam is an insider. He knows the industry inside out. Even his father was in the industry, and he knows how to control the budget and make the stars all act with a very limited amount of salary. And therefore, he was able to control the cost, timing, everything very well. And he just sold the whole film at a profit to Lyca, who then became the so-called producer to get the name and the glamour of it. So maybe they should have followed that model. Use somebody who knows how the industry works. So knowledge is number one, money is only number two. And Kamal Haasan's co-star Stimbu in Maniratnam's new movie, again a very mercurial person. He's not directly involved in Lyca's problem, but everybody knows about the challenges with the AAA movie directed by Adik Ravichandran, produced by Michael Rayappan, I believe his name, where the producer was again bitterly, literally crying about how Simbu caused the production cost to shoot up, did not come for shooting on time, and literally ran the project to the ground. Right? Again, as I said, heroes, they can afford to have a few flop films if they want to bring down a producer, but a producer has no fans, he can't do that. However, the flop of Indian 2 did do some amount of damage to Kamal Hassan's market value, and Shankar, of course, with Game Changer on top of that. Indian 3 might be a decent outing, but let's see what happens, whether some other people come to salvage, because political people like DMK and all, Kamal being sort of in bed with them, maybe they will come to help give some budget to get the film released, Indian 3. Last but not least, person involved in the puzzle of Lyca Productions collapse is a very peculiar name actually, superstar Rajinikanth, who is actually in the opposite side of the spectrum. He's known to be a very producer-friendly actor, and he goes out of his way to avoid producer wasting money. He wants the producer to do well. In fact, he had how to say, made movies where he gave the profits to various producers. Arnold Chalam, I believe, who had seen better times in the past. Such a lovely gesture. In fact, in the film Baba, he gave money back to the distributors. He don't want anybody to lose money. So when the project that Rajini worked on, in fact, he used the word these productions like my own house production, in-house production, because maybe they were spending money like water, and Rajini felt very comfortable. And the danger with being too comfortable, even for talented artists, they become careless. They think spending is okay. They are not playing their top game, right? So almost all Rajini projects with Lyca, surprisingly, all fell over. Was he so committed or not? Of course, in Jailer under Sun Pictures, he was very committed. He put in a lot of effort. Why? Because Kamal gave a hit with Vikram, and Rajini was a bit down at that time, and Nelson was also not having a good run. So Rajini knew he has to bring his A game. So sometimes negativity and difficulty is what brings out the best in a person. When Rajini was with Lyca, he was in a comfort zone. The producer also made him hyper comfortable. So we got movies like 2.0, Darbar, Lal Salam, Vettayan, right? All it seems to be, again, most of the projects are good on paper. Directors like A.R. Murugadas, 2.0 was Shankar again. Everything, but it seemed to be done very, very in a wasteful manner, right? The team did not seem to be working at the top level. Maybe everybody's just interested in getting maximum salary and just churning it out, right? The way the special effects was handled in 2.0, if the company did not do so well, why did they wait so long, and so on and so forth? It might be bad luck, but anyway, it raises questions. So if that mistake happened 2.0, why did Shankar repeating the mistakes in Indian 2 then, right? Prolonging the movie, trying to sell off to the public, unnecessarily dragged out movies. It spoils the reputation of everybody. Editor Srikar Prasad, director Shankar, Kamal Hassan the hero, but as I mentioned, directors have fans, heroes have fans. Okay, maybe that's what causing the carelessness and lots of victories in the past. So the interesting thing here is that since Rajini always has a name as somebody who always respect producer and calls them the boss, and now that he realizes that intentionally or not, his daughter's pet project Lal Salam, when Rajini's daughters get involved, you want to call them nepo kids or what, up to you. Somehow, why? Is because they have not gone through the pain and suffering of coming out from the ground. You see, oftentimes people will behave with you differently if you are VIP's child. So I don't blame them. Maybe the intention is good, but them coming in, what they should have done generally is go into another industry, other field, do medicine, law or what, then you can really fight and come up. Or if you want to do film, go to Hollywood or somewhere, earn your laurels, make a bunch of films and so on, and then come in. That might have been better, but anyway, I digress. So that project Lal Salam also went to the drain. And then Vettayan again, why did Rajini choose a director who he knows it's a bit risky, because he's not a short commercial director, TJ Gnanavel, right? Why he chose like an experimental story? So maybe again he felt that Lyca is a bottomless money, how to say, money tree or what, London somewhere and all that. So maybe Lyca's success, it's his cause of its ironically cause of his demise as well. So that with that kind of attitude, it's like, let's say you are running a small industry in any local place, and some outsider come in with bags of cash. What are you going to think? Even the most person, the most integrity might be tempted to be like, let's just do something, use the fellow's money, just don't worry too much about it. They got lots of money. What the few thousand here and there we take? Could that be? We do not know. Maybe it's bad luck. We do not know. What do you guys think? Share in the comments. So anyway, that happened. But I think as often people say, like even in Rajinikanth's own films, after the fall comes the rise, right? All these films, Annamalai, Sivaji, you name it. So just like maybe film will mimic, reality will mimic film, and maybe Rajini this time will try to help out Lyca, but hopefully in a very meticulous fashion, find a good commercial director. Even Sundar C doing last time how we enjoyed Guru Sishyan and all those 80s Rajini, Tilumulu and so on. It's high time he did a good comedy movie. Nelson is okay, I think there's some decent comedy in it, but maybe a Sundar C project which is not too expensive, a romantic comedy, put in Simran, Rajinikanth, maybe Sundar C, they can do something decent, or even maybe Adik Ravichandran, Rajinikanth, do it in a moderate budget and get good technicians and be humble. And maybe Lyca should use the strategy of using a local producer, first copy basis, good budget, this one, and just buy it over at a small profit for that first copy guy and market it, right? For example, Maniratnam can do a project with Rajini with a decent budget. He's very good at controlling costs. He can manage it and then send it to Lyca. Sundar C can do that. So I see a few directors who have the capacity of tackling this level of projects. So I think Maniratnam and Sundar C are rather high up on the list. But even a person like Karthik Subburaj has his own, if I'm not mistaken, it's called Stonebench Productions. Maybe he can also be up to such kind of a project. So anyhow, we don't want Kollywood to get the reputation. See, all other industries are showing very, very good how to say moral values, like you see how Bahubali, even now the latest SS Rajamouli, Andhra, this one, whereby the hero is working for 4 or 5 years, cameraman working for 4 or 5 years without doing other projects, totally focused, even delaying their salary in order to come with international level films. But Hollywood's getting like an image where anybody comes in will lose their money. They're just interested in their salaries. They're trying to con their way, everything, and even you see all these recent controversies concerning producers fight against actors like Dhanush, Simbu, and what's the other guy's name? Vishal, and so on. So our heroes are really setting the bar very low. They are earning one of the highest salaries of all the industries, and yet giving out products which are average or below par. Even people like Vijay and all that, just with same formula, just creating fan fights and then just trying to make money out of it. Vijay, however, interesting enough for Lyca, he gave them like a decent hit when they started off in Katti. The issue with Vijay is different, as his father, as he himself said in the interviews. They do a lot of media controlling, giving out gold coins and projecting things as big, and then they use people close to them as producers and then pay big salaries. And so an outside producer might think, oh, this is the salary Vijay earning, so they try to give more salary. So it's a different way of trying to earn big salaries. But what is genuine, we don't know. If you are yourself producing your movie indirectly, you yourself are giving yourself a very high salary, then is it genuinely high salary? I do not know. However, we still have to say or agree that Vijay's producers have usually had how to say a relatively decent survival situation, but he is also not to say 100% result. A lot of controversy still regarding certain producers who are still yet to make a movie after they did a project with Vijay. For example, the producer for Mersal, even a few other movies after that have this controversy. So what do you all think? Did all these heroes bring down Lyca, or is it just Lyca's own mistake and carelessness? Thank you. Bye bye.